Good evening and welcome to United Real Therapy, people. Thank God for that international break. We needed it. It was exhausting watching Man United. It was exhausting. But anyway, welcome, guys. We've got a panel tonight, an absolute panel of diehard United fans. Even from all the way across the road, across the world, in the other side in lovely Sydney. Obviously, it's the debut on the United Real Therapy. We'd like to welcome, brother. Obviously,
Thank you.
Yeah. Talk to us, man. What time is it over there?
10 past 8 in the morning, so it's not a bad time.
Yeah, perfect time. So please let us know your name. I actually know you as the football capital.
Yeah, football capital. My name's Butcher.
Butcher. Yeah. Say that again so I get the pronunciation right. Butcher.
Butcher.
Okay. Nice to meet you, bro. Welcome.
Butcher. Having me on.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for coming on. We need this debate. And then we got obviously bits and bobs up there.
Yeah. So what's your boy? Uncle Nuruddin, thanks for having me back on, man. We've got lots to discuss, lots to debate. Shout out Scozy and say Duff.
Yeah. Shitting all over the place. Love them. And then down here we got Rachel and Mundo. Rachel, how are you?
Hey, I'm all right, thank you. Thanks for having me on, Nuruddin. How are you doing?
I'm
doing well. You do well. Mundo, how are you doing? Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, and I'm looking forward to everyone's views about what's going on at the moment from the panel and those in the comments as well, because I sense a tide of change.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what people think.
Yeah. Fine, welcome, bro. How are you doing?
All good. Yes, nice to see a big panel. Listen, aren't we late? Is it live?
Yeah.
Nuruddin was on the night shift.
The Rascals did an absolute. I've got a nice litter bin for them that's closed. It's got a filter. One of them did the most stinkiest poos you'd ever smell in your life. So I've been cleaning poo. It's part of it. He wouldn't got kittens. It's part of it. You
better tell the listeners who've been waiting. You better tell them. You better apologise to them.
Listen, apologies.
Nuruddin, was the smell of the poo worse, or was it the football at Old Trafford worse? Which one's worse?
Actually, you know what? Actually, I can take that smell
good
of that.
Question. That's a very good question.
But I can't take
right?
the football.
I think so.
I can't take the football. That football is horrendous. But anyway, guys, welcome to United Real Therapy. Like I said, the usuals are in here. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody on this panel. And obviously, as a community, we've gone past the 3,000 barrier subscribers. So big up to every one of you and everybody who comments, because it's a community. It's not about me or it's about all of us. You know what I mean? And I try to use this channel to educate and to spread the word about our footballing structure, hence Mr. Structure being the name. And because I was confused when David Moyes didn't get it right. Well, I wasn't confused, actually. I lied. I knew he wasn't getting it right. Van Gaal didn't get it right. Jose didn't get it right. And then I had to do research and find out what's going on with our footballing structure. And then where we are was where we were with Ollie. But this is the opportunity. And I'm accepting on everybody's views. As long as I have the right to disagree with your point of view. But every views are welcome. I never get involved in the Ollie in, Ollie out. I just judge it by game, season by season, tournament by tournament, and have my views. But we've got this panel tonight. We've got a special panel for you tonight, guys. We've got Butcher there all the way from Australia and Sydney, Bits and Bobs in Scotland, Irfan in rainy Manchester with me, Rachel in London and Mundo in London. So this is an international affair. You know, this is the Therapy Army. So let's be having you people in the comments. I like to start and say, I've missed one game at Old Trafford this season, and it was the cup game. I missed the West Ham Cup game. Every other game that I've been to, they had ups and downs and trials and tribulations, but I know that we've not played well. Leeds are a special and a very unique team, so playing against Leeds can seem incredible and amazing, and obviously it was our first game back, as Bobs was there with us. It was our first game back after 2 years in Old Trafford, and so that was a game on itself that's unique. I actually thought on Saturday, the best 45 minutes I've seen from us at Old Trafford this season, and that is saying something. that is saying something. So to me, that was the best 45 minutes we played this season, right, at Old Trafford.
What does that
and
tell
that
you,
is
though?
saying something. So I'm going to go
does
to
that
the
tell
special
you?
guest. I'm going to go to Butch. Butch, please tell me what time you get up to watch those games. And was that a reasonable time for you, that game?
Yeah, the last two games actually have been at a decent time, at 9:30 at night. Usually they're at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., 5 a.m. But yeah, look, I still get up and watch them. It hasn't been the best, especially the 3 a.m. kickoffs where we can't get the job done. But look, it's the performances haven't been. We haven't seen a good performance since when? Like a full 90 minutes, a good performance. I can't even remember. And I do agree with you. I think the first half was the best half of football we've played this season, and maybe majority of last season as well. But is it more about performances, or is it about getting the job done? And at the moment, if you get the result against Villa and Everton, you're top of the table, and no one's questioning the performances. And then you give him time to get it right. I don't like to focus on the manager too much, no matter who the manager is. I look at the players, because as much as you like to say Ollie in the press conference, he said this, he's been saying that, he's a liar, blah blah blah. Or the managers, when they do press conferences, half the time they don't even want to be there, especially after a loss or a poor performance, right? I look at these players. When Pogba came here, he done an interview with Thierry Henry, and he's telling me that he came back to win trophies. He came back to win the league. There's unfinished business here. Well, show me then. Bruno came here to win trophies. Bruno didn't want to train for Sporting because he wanted to come to Old Trafford. Show me that you guys want to win trophies. We've had Sancho now has come in. Okay, I'm not criticizing him. He hasn't had. He's slowly coming into the team, but he's another player that's done interviews. He's here because he wants to win trophies. He wants to give back to the fans. You got Ronaldo is not here for a holiday. He's come here to win trophies. So how many players going on interviews on the MUTV or whatever and are here to win trophies? Well, then show me on the field. You're getting paid 100, 200K a week and you can't make a 2-meter pass. You're passing the ball out. We got 3 kits. The red one, the white, and then you got the blue one. And you're still giving it to the other team. Like, are we all playing in the same kits here? Is there a color clash? How is Fred McTominay always giving it back to the other team? There's times where Pogba does it as well.
Bad Bruno players.
Yeah, but we see that from Pogba, and it's not like he's making the risky passes. Like, for example, Alexis Sanchez. If you look at his pass completions, they were poor because he was always trying to play that risky pass. So I try to look at the players. I mean, you're not putting in the performances. You come in for a big transfer fee. All right, the price tag is not really up to you, but you get paid the big dollars. And what are you telling me? You can't take a corner properly. You can't beat the first man on a corner. For how many years? We had Ashley Young taking a corner for 3-4 seasons since Fergie left, and he couldn't cross in a ball. And you're thinking, well, what's going on at this club? So I try to focus on the players a little bit more than the manager, although the manager, whoever's in charge, the criticism you have to put some of the criticism on them, or majority of it on them, because they are the manager. And you do have to question Ollie's in-game management. I'm someone that said we need to give him time, as in this season. Yeah, I've come into this season saying to myself, he needs to deliver now.
Yeah,
I didn't come into this season saying after 7 games, if we're not here or we're not there, then he's got to go.
Yeah.
I'm giving him to this season because now this is his squad. People keep telling me he's been here for 3 seasons. Yeah, but look at the players he had when he came in.
Yeah.
He had Ashley Young, Smalling, Jones, Valencia in the back line. He had Herrera in the midfield. Now look at the players that he's got. Now there's pretty much no excuses. I don't care about we don't have a number 6. Make it work. You got the players around in one position. City won it without a striker. Then they won it without De Bruyne. Liverpool are still challenging, putting pressure on without half their squad not playing. So this is Ollie's last chance in my opinion. If he doesn't deliver a trophy, It has to be a trophy. Don't give me this top 4 rubbish, because we know what the Glazers are about. The Glazers are about, if we make top 4, it's fine. Yeah, and we've seen that with the past managers. When they didn't make top 4, they've gotten the sack. But for me, he needs to deliver now or this season. This whole outroar about Carrick and all these players deal feelings and all that getting a new deal. I think fans are just overreacting, because let's not forget, if Ollie gets sacked, they're all going. So it doesn't. I don't care. Let the Glazers spend money. Let them have a big payout at the end of the season. It's their loss. Let them keep Phil Jones for how many seasons they want and get 100 and something K a week. That's their money. If you don't want to get rid of the deadwood, bad luck. I don't care. Keep him there. Give Carrick the new deal and all these guys a new deal. Because let's just say the new manager comes in. He's not looking over saying, oh, yes, Carrick, Phelan, and McKenna. Yes, I've got these coaching stuff. They're the first ones to get out, man. So they're all going together. So that, at the moment, that's my stance on this kind of the situation that United's in at the moment. It is disappointing that where we should have got the results that we haven't. The performances haven't been the best. I know where, people like to say we're Moments FC, but you got to give him time for the players to come in, gel. Yeah, I don't even think Ollie knows his starting lineup week in, week out. So I just think you judge him at the end of the season, or if we start falling behind the pack. If we start getting out of Champions League and out of the title race by Christmas, then yeah, that changes the whole thing. And I think then he should go.
I mean, I'm just going to come to Bob's in a minute. If we go by if you go by history of the Glazers and the bankers who run our club, they'll act in January. So January is the way they act, or they'll act like when it's mathematically impossible for the manager to get top 4. So that's the thing we need to keep in mind. Bob's, I'd like to come to you. Obviously, you watched it. You've been watching it. You've been to the stadium. You actually heard the atmosphere. You were there with us against Leeds. How far? Where are you at this moment in time? Are you with the brother Butch who's saying? I think to me it is a bit overreaction. We can say the performance is shit, but now I'm telling all the Ollie outers they need to chill out, because Glazers don't do it that way. Man United don't start managers right there and there after 6 games. That's never been done. So yeah, it's either the revolt starts, Ronaldo starts the revolt in January, so it'll be goodbye January, or they'll wait till it's impossible for him to get to top 4. But Bob, take it away.
Yeah, I think. Look, I think it's wasted energy when you do the Ollie in or out, and I'm bad for it because I'm bipolar with it. If he does something right, I'm like, well done. I criticize him and praise him at the same time. For me, yeah, I hear what Bocce is saying, and me and Bocce go back and forth on this every day. For me, he's meeting the objectives of his bosses. Okay, so they can't sack him. They won't sack him. Now, I have a feeling that in their contract, there was a stipulation. If you were in top 4, you get a new contract. And I think that's just what's happened. We've got to the national break where sometimes business does get done internally. And I think they've triggered something. They've reached the cause. They're in top 4. So, I was a bit up in arms, but I'm not shocked now. Man United, previously, managers have sacked them after City, Liverpool, after we either get battered or we weren't going to make top 4. Now, he's got a very hostile month coming up. Now, it's frustrating because he's not good, okay? And you want Man United to win and be successful, so you obviously want him to be successful. But I always say this, you need to give yourself a chance, okay? The best chance possible. Even if it means you play your best 11 for 60, 70 minutes, and then you get 2, 3, 4 goals, whatever, then you can bring certain players on to either hold the lead or just, hold the fort. With Ollie, the decisions he's making, they're not making sense. And he has been getting lucky. Now, I'll go back to the West Ham game. 6 minutes to go. He brings on Matic. We need the goal. Okay, we got away with it because Lingard. But, it wasn't the obvious thing. You couldn't tell me Ollie is coming out and saying Matic was going to pass the ball forward. Now, if that's the case, yeah, and I don't know whoever's played football here, but you know yourself, if you're fit enough to be on the bench, you're fit enough to start at the end of the day. So why does he not look to start him if that is the case? If he said we knew Matic was going to pass the ball forward, why did you not start him then? I don't understand. Stuff like that I don't understand. Yes, I'm Ollie out, but look, we understand. We know what's going to happen. He's going to be here. Listen, Ollie has got previous where when he's against the odds, he comes out on top. But for me, the worrying factor was when Ronaldo stormed off. Ronaldo's not stupid, okay? He knows what he's doing. But at the same time, yeah, I just felt international break. Fergie used to go to wars with international managers. Fergie would be like, he's not coming. Tell them you're injured. Fergie would play you before you went to international. Fergie would never rest a player before going on international break. He always told us, you are first and initially a Manchester United player before you go on duty. That's what he used to call it. It's duty. You get asked to come on duty. And by the way, you can reject the call for the record. So why are we resting him? And for me, that last game there, listen, we know Everton, and Rafa. We know what Rafa Benitez is gonna do. You know what to expect. But for me, you're a mute. You're a mute, Northern.
He shut up shop. As soon as they won 1-1, the shop closed.
That was it. But that's Rafa. Rafa done that with Newcastle away from home when they equalised. He knows how to stay compact. He basically said 4-5. I believe it was like a 4-5-1 in some sort of way.
But it's 5 in midfield. Put 5 in midfield.
Yeah, he did. He's not stupid. Do you know what I mean? And that's a pragmatic manager. And for me, what annoyed me is just that, like, we knew that was coming. But what I didn't understand that, people say he doesn't make substitutions late. People say he make the substitutions early. Why were you so quick to bring them on? This is my point. And hear me out.
Now, for me, the biggest thing is this Cavani. So you're watching the game, right? When you're at the stadium, the ball actually, the camera, when you get on television, the camera follows the ball. Wherever the ball is, the camera follows. But when you're in the stadium, you see the movement. You've seen it, Bobby. I'm sure most of you have been to a stadium. You've seen it. You see how different it is when you're there. And the biggest thing is that Cavani is occupying the two centre halves. He's doing a fantastic job. Why? Knowing that 1-0 is not enough for Man United. We know that already. We know that from last season, we've not kept any clean sheets at Old Trafford. So why are we going to think we're going to win 1-0? Because we're not 1-0 FC. We're not. Our defense is not that good enough for us to win 1-0 at the moment. So why are you bringing... If you're bringing Ronaldo on, I understand. But do not take Cavani off. Because Ronaldo does not... I said it, the tweet out there, I put it out there. Ronaldo's is not as good as Cavani occupying them. And he's actually... Somebody says on the comment here, Rio, so I think it was Rio, pick up Rio. It was... What did he say? He said something on one of these comments here. He basically said, Ronaldo has killed our fluidity. 100%. When you go to the stadium, Ronaldo has 100% killed Man United's fluidity. We don't play with the same fluidity as we did before, right? So I want to go to Rachel. Rachel, do you think bringing off Cavani costs? I think that costs us the game personally.
Can I just say something quickly?
I agree.
Sorry, Rachel. Can I just say something quick?
Right.
The quick point I was trying to make was that Martial just got the goal. Okay, Cavani was making movement and stuff. If you're talking about going for the win,
just let me stop you there, Bobby. Martial got injured even before he scored the goal. He was injured.
But he's just been called up to France, and he's just went up to the France squad.
Yeah, he was pulled something. He was limping. He was limping in the game, and I kept saying to people around me.
That being said, right, you don't have to bring Pogba and Ronaldo on. Personally, for me, I think Pogba was mucking up the balance. Even if you want to, Cavani's played wide right, wide left for PSG. If you're talking about the legs and the movement, there's ways that we could have even went fucking 4-4-2, and then said to Benitez, deal with that. 2 centre forwards up front. Yeremina and friends, deal with that. Do you know what I mean? Give something. We never seem to do. I'll finish so Rachel can come in. Yeah. We never seem to do things to give other managers to think about something. We always seem to worry about what people do. We're at Old Trafford. It's our home pitch. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah. Anyway.
Go on, Rachel.
Sorry, what was the question? Nuruddin?
What did you think about Cavani coming off?
I thought it was a joke, to be honest with you. I don't know how many of you know how I feel about the Ronaldo signing, but I never wanted him. And I was furious the day that we signed him. The problem with Ronaldo is exactly what Nuruddin says. He's a gargoyle outside of the box. He doesn't move enough, and if he does move, he ends up occupying the space of our other players, and it gets on my nerves. Cavani is intelligent with his movement. He works damn hard. He presses, all the things that Ronaldo refuses to do. And the thing is, Benitez could bring on a midfielder because he knew that we weren't going to press from the front and it would just be easy for them. No one to occupy the defenders, as Nuruddin said. And I was just like, I don't understand it, because as you guys said before, Oli doesn't really make early substitutions. And the fact that he made one on the 57th minute, by the way, before 60 minutes, and one of them was Ronaldo coming on for Cavani. The other one was Sancho for Martial. That one was forced, but the Ronaldo one baffled me, because we were actually decent. Obviously, in the first half, we're playing quite well. The first 10 minutes of the second half, we were actually playing quite well. We fell off a bit, and the problem started in the midfield, where we were starting to get overrun. So he should have made a change there, because McTominay and Fred went back to the standard McFred, where they couldn't control the football, couldn't control the midfield. So he should have made a change there. And then he decided again, when the midfield's being overrun, to bring on a forward. So I don't understand it at all. I don't understand his mindset, and I'm tired of it. I'm honestly tired of it.
Mundo.
Next person.
Mundo. Thanks, Rachel.
I thought it at the time when we signed Ronaldo, and I still think the same now, given what's come out recently in the press and stuff, that Ronaldo was going to crank up the pressure on Oli for a number of reasons. One is that the signing has raised expectations amongst the fans. We now expect to win the league because we've signed one of the greatest ever players, or we signed him. But the other thing now, what we're seeing is Ronaldo's reaction to the result. Ferguson's comments, I don't know if you've seen Ferguson's comments about starting your best players. And the other thing is that I believe that Ronaldo was subbed on because Oli felt he had to put him on the pitch. Nothing to do with the tactics or how the game was going. He felt obliged to put him on the pitch. Now that is a problem, because that's saying that the player has the more power than the manager. Right? Ollie's obviously scared of Ronaldo and felt, if I drop him, then I need to make sure at some point I give him enough of the game. And
some might argue Ronaldo's bigger than Man United. I don't think so. United are bigger than Ronaldo.
Nah,
Ronaldo,
we're bigger.
Ronaldo,
But he's bigger than Oli, though.
And all of the
he's
coaching
bigger than
staff.
Oli.
But you need to remember, though, when Ronaldo was playing, Oli was on the bench. Ronaldo's out here winning Champions Leagues and League Cups for leagues and League Cups. Oli's on the bench. Do you know what I mean? And what, you want to bench Ronaldo? The thing is, look, Mundo, we get the fact he needs to manage him. But come on, lad. The last home game before the international break, and then obviously the way the game was going, he thought, oh my God, his bum went. I need to get him on. He couldn't wait to get him on. That's what I don't understand.
But the thing is that he took Cavani off as though Cavani isn't a good player and doesn't.
Like he wasn't watching the game, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It was just like,
it's like makes no sense.
It's like before the game, he just said.
The excuse he used was that Cavani, we need to watch him. Cavani, he's had a good hour. We need to manage Cavani coming back from injury.
So wait a minute. So when Marcus Rashford is playing with a broken shoulder, right? Can't bloody run, hurt his back or whatever. You keep him on for 90 minutes. You keep him on for 90 minutes and run him into the ground. But then when you've got Cavani and Ronaldo, you say, "Oh, I've got to protect them." But you're not talking about regular 33 and 36-year-old. You're talking about guys who are super fit. Even Cavani is super fit for his age, and he gets around the pitch. So you don't need to protect unless they're showing fatigue or they're injured. They can play the full 90. He's coming out with BS, right? Because he feels as though he has to play Ronaldo. Now that's detrimental to us because there'll be certain games that are suited more to Cavani pressing up front, right? If we're playing against Liverpool and Man City, I'd rather play Cavani up front because, every single man on the pitch has to put in 100%. You can't carry passengers in those big games. So when it comes to October now and our run of games, it's going to be interesting because if you persist with Ronaldo in those games, we might be in trouble. Now, you can afford to carry a guy like Ronaldo if your team is functioning. If you've got 10 players who put in a shift and your team is functioning, then you can afford to have one guy as a passenger, right? Just there to finish off the dinner, right? When you create the chances. But we're not. We're not that team. We don't play as a team. We're a bunch of individuals, right, that are just thrown onto the pitch and said, go on, win the... Basically, I think he just says, what he says to the defence and the midfielders is, right, guys, I want you to work hard. And the front four Just go on the pitch and win me the game. That's his tactics. And unfortunately, in modern football, when we talk about elite level and you're competing against teams like Man City, Chelsea and Liverpool, that does not cut the mustard, right? You look at how Liverpool play, they have a system. You know how Liverpool are going to play week in, week out. You look at Chelsea, that's the same. And you look at Man City, that's the same. And what I'm hearing from the fans who are in support of Ollie is give him time. How long has it taken Tuchel to implement a style of play at Chelsea that is producing results? How long has it taken him? Less than 6 months. Klopp and Pep, even though they may have not won straight away, you could see that they had a way that they wanted their team to play. And I'm not even sure how Manchester United play football. If I watched Manchester United on Saturday and then watched them again on Wednesday, I don't know what I'm watching, what to expect on the Wednesday. It's a complete Jekyll and Hyde performance, not just across a week, but within 90 minutes. How is it possible that 45 minutes you play one way and 45 minutes you play another? And the thing is, if it was only happening now because we've signed new players and they need to get used to the team and in bed and whatnot, then you can kind of cut Ollie some slack. But this has been the situation now for the last 18 months. So what I'm interested in knowing, from you guys and also those in the comments is, what do you think Ollie needs to do to change this? Because I just can't see how this can be changed. I think he's had his time. He's had enough time. He's got the players he needs. And I think you could give him another 10-year contract, and in 10 years, we're still having the same debate.
But Mundo, just to go back to you on that point, just quickly, just want a quick answer from you before I move on to Irfan. Is that, do you want him gone in January? Is that what? Because they're not going to sack him now. It's not going to be till Christmas or January. So you like?
I know. Realistically, right? So if we talk about what's likely to happen, then the earliest he will probably get sacked will be January. But if I was the person making the decision, I'd get rid of him now, because unless you are confident that he's going to win a trophy this season, which I'm not, and I think a lot of the fan base are not, why are we sticking around with him? Just so we can have another crap season like last year and the year before and the year before that? We've been patient.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Mundo. Well, what I was going to say is, do you know what I find absolutely fascinating about Ollie? Is that, do you guys remember Project Restart? How we were playing in that period, where we were actually playing really well, and it was Pogba, Matic, and Bruno. I would say that period was the most distinct in terms of having patterns of play, because that's where I got a lot of my when I was doing breakdowns and stuff. That's where I got a lot of my images from. And what I would say to that is, it's a profile of player. So if we've played that way before, then that means that we do have patterns, we do have a style. However, what I'm seeing from Ollie, which absolutely baffles me, is that he's replaced in the midfield Pogba and Matic with McTominay and Fred. And what he's done is he's put two players who are completely incapable of playing that style of football, because they don't have it in their skill set, simply put. He's put those two players in there who can't do it. And every time a pattern is started, it breaks down in the midfield, to the point where I've literally watched Harry Maguire get the ball off of David De Gea, look at his midfield, see Fred, and bypass him. That's how bad it is.
Listen, you can see that. Every time that happens in the stadium, Rachel, I point it out. I laugh.
But this is the thing, Nuruddin. This is the thing, Nuruddin, though. You've got Matic and Donny van de Beek sitting on the bench. Exactly. They are two players that can execute the patterns that you want to put out onto that pitch. Explain to me why you don't play them. This is what I don't understand. This is what I'm trying to say.
They don't do the energy.
It's because he's not. He's going to die by his sword. They don't run about. They're not knee sliding, passion merchants.
It's nonsense. This is
guys,
the most.
There's over 100 of you in here. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please follow people. Irfan Radio, Mikey Mundo, the capital of football. Bits and bobs. Rachel, the avocado. Is it the avocado?
The devil's avocado.
Devil's avocado. Right. Irfan, go on. Give me your review of the season. You've not watched many games.
I've watched nearly all of them. I've only missed the first half of Leeds. All right. Listen, when I talk, you'll see what I've watched or not. All right. Wait a second. Nuruddin, this debate is a 5-hour debate. It's not a 1-hour debate because there's so much to go into with this buffoon who runs our club manager. It's so much, honestly. I'll give you an example.
By the way, shout out Saeed in the comments. I've just sent him the link. Conte is the answer.
Big up
Conte is
Saeed.
not the answer, but anyway, go on.
No way.
Oh, not Conte.
Let me try and add to what you guys have just said. Yeah. Now look, my last thought of this whole debate with Ollie was watching Klopp talk about the tactics in the City versus Liverpool game. You know, watching a real manager talk about what football is really about. Our clown who runs is the manager, right? Has not got any of that tactical nous. He's a man-to-man guy. He's an arm around the shoulder kind of guy. Because tell you the truth, Mondo nailed it. The only reason Ronaldo came on was to keep Ronaldo happy. It's the only reason. There was no other reason to put him on. That's what it was, and that's how this guy operates. He acts. He's a man-to-man. He does know nothing about football, intelligence, football, tactical, how to win it. I mean, look how Villarreal took the mickey out of our midfield. Look at just went past through it all day long. Villa.
You're right. Because remember when Dean Henderson was the number one and De Gea moved to him, stepped up to him, quit on him, then De Gea came back. You're right. He just wants to please the players.
That's who he is. That's who, listen, when I watch the games, yeah, I'm always coming to the show thinking, what can I add to the show? Because I always listen to every football pundit, everyone, just to see when United play, to see what they say, yeah. And what you've got a panel of ex-players who've got all his back, Rio and all them boys, yeah. Hargreaves, Scholesy a little bit, and then you've got the fans like us who we don't want to win. We just want to see a progression in the football because we look at City, we look at Liverpool, we look at real teams and think, look at that, we are so far behind, right? But then we look at our clown manager and clown coaches and we think, what are you actually thinking? I always try to think, what is he thinking? Why is he doing that? And you can't work out what's in the guy's brain because he doesn't have a football brain. And I like the guy, but this debate is, like I said, we're all frustrated because it's year 3. We expected progression. And like I said, the fact that he keeps playing 2 in the pivot tells me this guy is a clown. He's a total clown. Why take Ronaldo then? You're going to keep playing 2 people. Because look, if you've got all these top players, where's the supply coming from? Where's it going to come from? And that's the story of our team. It's not going anywhere with these guys. And let's be honest with you, he's got a guy whose natural position is number 6. He's got a guy from the Dutch school of football who can play on the half turn all day long, right? Not a guy like McTominay who has to take it 10 yards away from the nearest midfielder so he can turn it around, yeah? Not a goon like that. And then, look, I like Fred, but Fred keeps giving the ball away. Fred's got energy, but he doesn't have the skill. He doesn't have the pass. He can't do it. So these 2 clowns should never be in the team, yeah? There should be occasionally the second guy to come in the second half. Donny could do it and Matic can do it, but I mean, there's so much to go into, but I don't understand that a 12-year-old, I'm surely a 12-year-old can see this. Why can't our coaches see this? Why can't all these kids? Because they're not up to it. They just haven't. Some people have it. Some people don't have it. Some people can masquerade and hide behind all this stuff. Some people can't. But at one level, you will always get found out. And the fans want more. The fans are begging for more. That's why the energy of Ollie has changed. It's Ollie out. Everywhere I look, it's Ollie out from a fan's perspective. Now, the thing is, Nuruddin's right. He ain't getting sacked. He's definitely not getting sacked. The only way anything can change in January, because let's be honest, let's take Ollie's side for a second. We're only 2 points off top. We've had a crappy season. We've been very lucky. But you know what's coming in the next 6 games. You know what's coming, yeah?
But that's why it's not good enough, Irfan. It's not good enough. Because
wait a second. Let me just say, though, I know it's not good. But we're all coming from a fan's perspective. We're the fans. We can never try and sit in his shoes. We can't. Right, and then we got.
I would for $9 million a year.
Yeah, but then we got the Glazers. We got the Glazers shoes. We got Ollie and his coaching staff's shoes, and we got our shoes. Right, and we got to try and walk in all 3. And to be honest,
let me just give you the next 6 games. Leicester straight after the international break. Leicester away, Atlanta at home in the Champions League. Liverpool at home. Atlanta at home. Liverpool at home. Tottenham away. Atlanta away, Manchester City at home. So I'll repeat that.
Do you know who we beat? We beat Tottenham and Man City. I guarantee we beat those 2. The others, I'm not so sure.
Right, I don't.
You know what?
No way. I don't see.
No, I'm not. Listen. We never performed well against Manchester City, yeah, but we always managed to win. Somehow, some miracle happens, yeah. We end up picking up points during these runs. It tilts me.
Yeah,
in the long run.
We beat City at the Etihad. We never beat. We draw or they beat us at home. So we're playing them at home.
That is fair,
Old
actually.
Trafford, their record is fantastic because we either draw or they beat us. But the Etihad is where they can't win. We always beat them.
Yeah,
at
but the Oli Juju, no one's factoring in this Oli Juju, where when things are difficult, this guy somehow manages to win games and save his ass.
He's got no juju. He doesn't know what juju is. I'm telling you, you guys are giving too much credence to what this guy is. He's been lucky, and like I said, look at the squad he's got. Look at the players he's got. And people say, "Oh, why is Cavani? Why can't a smart manager can fit both of them in the team when the time is right? A smart manager can work with that squad, but we don't have that guy, and we don't have the coaching staff. We don't have those people. We just don't." And like I said, I'm glad Ronaldo's there because let's say if we want progression in the club, all right, he might disrupt our way of playing. Let's be honest. Yeah, but let's be honest. If Ronaldo wasn't there, he'd still be coasting. The pressure would be less if Ronaldo wasn't there. And as a fans, we want progression. But I'm happy the guy's there.
But do you know what? The progression though, have we got progression though? If we really, I know you're going to say, oh, he's done well to change the culture and the squad. But listen, those players that have left have went and won trophies elsewhere. Okay, they've actually probably improved. Ashley Young's hairlines came back. Man's got a decent trim. Lukaku's probably top 5 strikers.
Now, Bobby, let me stop you there. Bobby, let me stop you there. He's got this. He went to the same wig, the wig guy that his manager went to. That's why Conte sorted him out. He said, "I'm not having you with a hairline like that." He went and sorted him out. I'm gonna come to Butch, right? I'm gonna come to Butch because I actually agree with Butch, right? That Ollie has done a rebuild. Me and Rachel will talk about it, and we will talk about it. And Ollie, obviously, Mundo's been Ollie. Our Irfan was wait and see. Bobby's like me, wait and see. But we'll criticize him and we'll praise him when he deserves to, right? We understand what he's done. We understand where Jose Mourinho took us to. Jose Mourinho took me to dark alleys.
Let's not underestimate that either. He did a good job there. He did one job. I give you
trophies.
Right? In terms of what Jose Mourinho did to me psychologically, in terms of he was getting away with literal murder week by week. That's what he was getting away with, right? He should have been sacked after that Seville interview, after that game. The only game in the history of since me and Mundo have been sneaking into that stadium for years since we were kids. The only time I've ever voluntarily left the stadium was a Sevilla game, right? And at times, when I look at Ollie's team now, Butch, is that we go back to those tactics, hoover and hope. Now, I understand that the rebuild is done. I understand what Ollie's done. I understand Ollie's brought down the temperature. I understand that he's brought a culture where we like some of the football. We are moments of see, like, big up Saeed. Saeed coined it a long time ago. Freestyle football, that's what we do. But the biggest thing for me is that Ollie's now throwing his coaches under the bus. Because when you're picking Fred and McTominay, the way our teams coach, because I do see we overload on the left-hand side, usually with Rashford, with whoever's playing on the left-hand side, with Rashford, whether it's Rashford or Pogba or Luke Shaw, and whoever's playing up there, we in the midfield, inside in the midfield on the left-hand side, we team up there. But we don't ever switch the play because we always got Wan-Bissaka, and most of the teams give us Wan-Bissaka. They're like, give him the ball then. He's not going to do anything. And they give him the ball. That's what we do. So what happens is that the way we're set up in the terms of the reason why you have 2 pivot number 8 is because you want to transition through quickly through to the thirds and give your attacking players the chance for them to be able to attack the defenders when there's a bit of chaos going on up front in terms of defensive setup. So that's the way we set up. But how can you have 2 number 8s, right, in the pivot who can't pass the ball 5 yards to save their lives, Butch? How can you have that? So Ollie's not only throwing his coaches under the bus, his whole team, the way they analyze teams, the way Man United want to play, those 2 players cannot play in that system. I've watched it live. I've scratched everywhere. I'm going bald. I'm losing hair. I'm going great.
Going bald.
About how can you have... I've seen Robson, Ince, Keane, Butt, Scholes, Hargreaves, Carrick. If you can't pass the ball, right? For example, I'll give you a quick snippet, right? This is my last thing. On Saturday, there I saw Scott McTominay. We overloaded on the right-hand side for once, yeah? With Wan-Bissaka and Greenwood, yeah? Right? We overloaded on that side. The ball comes into midfield. Sancho's there, free, 1 against 1 with a defender. All he had to do is switch the ball to 25 yards, 30 yards. That's on the floor. He looked The crowd is going, Sancho was this with his hands up like that. Where are we going, switch it? We're screaming, switch it. He turns and gives it 5 yards to Wan-Bissaka.
It says it all,
Now,
Meriden.
today I'm reading from the Athletic, Laurie Whitwell. I'm reading today that the coaching staff are training Scott McTominay how to play in that number 6 role. So last week, 2 weeks ago, it was Fred. Fred is coming out saying he's learning to pick up the ball from the defenders. So this week is Scott McTominay's learning. So we're going to have 2 number 6s then. Take it away, bro.
Look, you're spot on. I don't know. I can't answer that. I always thought that he was playing Fred and McTominay because he didn't trust Maguire and Lindelof. And I thought once Varane comes in, there's no need for a number.
Absolutely.
You're going to play one of them. Okay, we understand. Even if they're shit, we understand that you're going to play one. But there's still, why is there a need to play 2? I don't get that. Now, look, I probably bit lenient on Ollie because I'm a manager myself. I run an academy, and I can see, especially last season when there was no fans, right? And you can hear the messages that Ollie is putting out on the touchline. Because there's no fans, you can hear everything he's saying. Now, people like to say he just looks at his tablet, he sits down on the thing or on his bench, doesn't do anything. But you can hear in this game as well. You can tell him he's sending messages out to Sancho to run at players. You can tell even last season there was how many times did I hear, Scotty, play forward, play the pass forward, and they don't. And then it's like, why is he starting him? Why does he keep week in, week out, keep starting him? And that's the question. Now, for everyone that wants Ollie out, this is the perfect scenario. Keep playing him. Let's this run that we're in now, as much as we're United fans and we want to see our team win, if he loses any of these games, all right, maybe if he loses to City towards the end of it, but if you're losing to Leicester and Atalanta, the job, I don't think you should even be here. You know what I'm saying? So this is the perfect scenario. We're in the perfect scenario here. And I know people are saying, free Donny, this free Donny. Donny played 6 in the youth team at Ajax. How many times has Donny come in, right? How many times has he come in and he's been caught because he's not a player that's gonna.
He's not been given a fair share. He's not playing with the best.
Bro,
the better
when your
players,
job's on the
though,
line,
Butchie,
when your job's on the look, when your job's on the line, me as a manager, when I coach the kids, right? You see at training, this guy's not putting in. If my job is on the line, and then do I risk putting someone that I don't really trust him because I don't see it in training? He needs to be absolutely killing it in training for him to start. But maybe he's not doing that. We can't go by all these. We can't go by all these things that reports and the Athletic said this and reports that like Ollie said this in his press conference and he said he's gonna play him and Donny's come out on just because Donny came out on Rio's podcast and said, yeah, I've played in that number 6 role before. It doesn't mean he's a number 6. It's gonna be one of them things again where people like with Pogba where people say, oh, at the start, it was, he plays better out on the left-hand side because that's where he plays for France. And then he plays on the left-hand side. It's, now Pogba's out of position. And now he's sitting way too deep. And then we don't even know with Pogba what the go is. And that's going to be the same with Donny.
You're talking Butchie, you're talking about that Donny van de Beek's not 6 and stuff. Are you seriously sitting there and telling me right now, okay, that Ollie goes to training Monday to Friday, and you're trying to tell me that McFred outshines Donny van de Beek on the training pitch?
No way.
No, but it's not. I'm sorry, it's not even that though, right? McTominay and Fred, they offer nothing offensively, right? When they play together, okay, they have the worst. No, this is what I'm going to say. They have the worst defensive stats in the league. They barely win half of their duels compared to every other defensive player in the league, right?
Yeah,
in the midfield,
you can't use that stat.
Yes, of course you can use that stat. It's defensive duels.
But they
don't position well either.
Them stats were percentages, right? But you're not giving me how like 50% percent
okay,
for
it's less. It's less. There's a massive gap between it.
How many games is he playing compared to some of the other players? I'm saying like Matic is in like the 3rd tier or something like that, 2nd tier. He's played less games, so of course Fred and McTominay are going to be less percent because I'm not backing them up. I'm not saying they're doing fantastic. No, I'm just saying that stat in particular If you look at how many games they played in minutes and the number of duels that they actually been involved in, it's completely different to some of the ones that are higher up the top. I get what you mean. I understand. They shouldn't be playing. We don't know why. I don't, even me, like I look at this guy and be like, why do you keep playing him? There's no need for this. But if you want to lose your job, keep playing him. That's it. At the end of the day,
I can't accept that, Bocce. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah, we can't accept that. We can't accept that. But if that's the way he wants to go, obviously he's keep playing the whole year. He's been playing that same way, right?
Yeah, and he's a stubborn goat. We get that. But Bocce, at the end of the day, Bocce, okay,
like you said, he's gonna die on his own sword.
I know, but common sense isn't common, okay? If you look at some of the way we concede, right, there's clips of Fred for the first press, or when the team's attacking us, Fred goes out, and then when it bypasses Fred, Scott McTominay comes across. He misses it completely. Now, are you trying to tell me these are the two individuals that you want us to go and dominate a midfield and then compete and challenge for the league?
I get that, but then I've also seen Donny against Luton, and he.
But but let's see the thing about Donny, right? The thing about Donny, right? Anyone knows
he's played 40 games last season, and I know he hasn't started, and he's come off a lot of times.
Give him 10 games, Bocce. Give him a run.
Not even 10, Bobby.
Five.
Yeah, and I think he'll come good. Look,
you know what, right? You know what, Botch, and you know what? We would all see it. To me, the games that I watched, IP Leipzig last season in the Champions League, Southampton game away, Wolverhampton away last
season.
Yeah, Wolves away, one of the most enjoyable football games because we actually saw. Anytime Matic and Donny play, the fluidity on our midfield is day and night. Yeah. So I don't care what Ollie sees in training. What we see with our own eyes when we watch football for almost 30 years or however many years that we've been on this earth, we watch football and we see it. Some of us have played in midfield and we know.
But look, you know, we've discussed this so many times. He's got his favourites. They're his favourites. Scotty's his favourite. Scotty's his golden child.
You think actually Scotty's his Roy Keane? I'm telling you now.
He really does.
People are saying that. He thinks Scott McTominay is his Roy Keane. But to me, I'm confused because even when they've got these sonographers in the media, Mundo, right, come to you, they got these sonographers in the media, right, who just, Neil Ashton just passes them the paper. 1, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks ago now, Fred come out in an interview in a magazine and said, I'm learning. 28 years old. You can't learn. You can't learn to be a CDM. Fred is a high pressing number 8. Brazilian manager plays him there. He plays Casemiro after number 6. He plays to hunt the ball down up the pitch. Scott McTominay is box to box. And the worst thing,
McTominay plays centre back for Scotland.
Yeah, but listen, he's not. He can never be somebody in that's Scotland, Bobby. Scotland haven't got that many talents.
This is what I'm saying to you, though.
But he doesn't get ahead of McLean.
Listen to what I'm saying to you, though.
Yeah.
When he comes to the Scotland squad, the manager doesn't even play him in midfield.
Exactly.
This is my point.
Exactly.
Put it this way, Look at our midfield. Look at our midfield compared to the rest, to the top 10 Premier League teams. How many of them have a worse midfield than us? Pick one, because I can't think of any. 2 central midfielders. Pick the midfielders that are worse in their starting team.
No. Yeah, okay. So let me just say this. So if we've got the 2 worst midfielders, someone explain to me why Matic doesn't even get the slot a little bit more. He like 20 minutes here, 50. Why doesn't he get the chance?
The $1 million question, man. The $1 million question.
Ollie doesn't trust him anymore, and he's let the media, the PR, is seeping out of Man United by the Athletic and all these people. It's like he can't play 90 minutes. Okay, I'm not asking you to play 2 games in a week. I'm asking you to play 60 minutes, 70 minutes.
You know what the propaganda stat was today that I read? Do you know the propaganda stat from them side I read today? United have created the 3rd most chances in the league this year. They created the 3rd.
It's all Bruno.
Yeah.
This is Bruno.
Listen, who's giving a free roll? Mundo, I'm going to come to you.
Right, couple of things. Based on the Matic point.
Mundo, hold it right there. Khalis Rabadi Lassit is just the chief reporter, United Real Therapy. He says another 9.5 million Man United shares value at 186 million, right, to 137 at a close play price in New York today, being sold by Kevin Edward Glazer. So the set price will be less than the value due to the amount being sold. Represents 8% of the family in total combined ownership, although they will still hold 69% of their the shares. So we've sold some shares. Let's hope whoever's buying these shares has a plan to take over Man United. Let's hope it's a start of something. But something tells me that ain't happening. I can only wish. Mundo, go ahead.
So on the point with Matic.
So by the way, Mundo, the reason why I brought up Scott McTominay and Maguire, and Fred McFred, is because you said, what can we make changes? You said you can't see Oli making changes. The reason why I brought those two guys up, because we can see the changes. Leicester City after international break, Scott McTominay, Fred, out of the squad. Not even on the bench, because I want to go put more attacking players on that bench. I'm going to start with Donny and Matic, and then Lingard, because you know what? Lingard, I'm telling you, were busier and can get back in positioning. And I would play 4-3-3. I will play Bruno and Pogba as a disciplined number 8 at times when we need to win the game. And I would take off Donny and rotate Donny with Pogba and Bruno, because they will play their normal positions as the number 8. 4-3-3. Varane and Maguire now, we can play that formation, because as Butch said, that's what we're thinking. Bubble Wrap FC was going to be over. Maguire and Lindelof wrap up was going to be over. That's what we're expecting. So when you asked that question earlier, what you will change, that is the changes that we want to see.
Okay, couple of things.
Wait a second there. Let him come in on Matic, and then he can get back to that.
Couple of things here. Right, check it out. Matic, the point on Matic, people are talking like Matic is 38. He's 33 years old. He's a professional athlete. He's a midfielder. He's not a granddad. Okay, he hasn't got pace. But what do? You put legs in beside him.
Yes.
But the problem is that we don't have, for me, a system that works. Because I think Matic, if you put him in Man City or Liverpool, he could do a job for those teams. Because they have a system and they have legs, right?
And Fernandinho's older than him. Fernandinho's older than him.
Exactly.
Yes, Fernandinho's older than him. Second point, on Fred and McTominay, I think our manager is making them look worse than they actually are. I don't think they're that good. I don't think they're great, but they're not as bad as they're playing at the moment. And I think that, again, is down to how they're being played. The thing about football is what elite managers do is they simplify the game for their players. Yeah, they make it easy for them. They create a system and a structure where a player has very few things to think about on the pitch, right? Doing in training, doing the same thing over and over again. Muscle memory, right? So the players just know, I go on the pitch, this is my job. When that player is not available, the whole team doesn't then just capitulate, because we've got a system. And the player who comes in may not be at the same quality, but they can do a job. That is the thing that Alex Ferguson always had with his teams. He could put anyone into that team. We played a midfield with guys like Fletcher, John O'Shea, Ryan Giggs played in there, Ji-sung Park played in there. The Silva brothers played in there. It didn't matter. You can see with Pep's teams, he plays the Ukrainian kid at left back. Cancelo plays left back, right back.
Best left back in the league, by the way.
Yeah, because he's got a system, right? Liverpool put that young guy, Jones, into their midfield. You don't see Liverpool's form dropping off. All I'm going to say is one thing. Take Bruno out of our team and what happens? We capitulate, because our tactic is throw individuals on the pitch and hope for the best.
And hope and pray. It's called Hope and Pray FC, Mundo.
Hope and pray football, right? And doesn't work at the elite level. And that is the problem. So that goes down to coaching, right? And I think Scott, McTominay and Fred can be improved as players. Yes, then they can't learn a new role, which is what they're trying to do at the moment. That's some nonsense. But they can be improved. You can simplify the game and say, you know what, Scott, your job is this part of the pitch, don't move, right? You're covering the full backs, doing X, Y, and Z. I'm not seeing any of that. What's the point of playing a double pivot when teams just waltz through? Yep. And the other thing is, what's the point of signing Varane? I thought the purpose of Varane was so we could play a higher line. I'm not seeing that.
And only one in the
Why are we still playing low block? Why is our defence still camped out just on the edge of our area. Why are they not on the halfway line? Why are we not closing the space, pressing teams, right? We've got players up front who are quick. We should be defending from the front. That was the purpose of Varane. And Paul Varane now, before he used to look up and say, Casemiro, Modric, Cruz. Now he looks up and sees McFred. Right? That's a problem. And the final point I'm going to make is, why did we spend 70? Our right side of midfield has been a problem for years, right? We know that, yes, I love Greenwood. I think he's a phenomenal player, but we know that our right side is limited when it's Greenwood and Wan-Bissaka, right? In certain games, it doesn't work. So why did we spend £74 million on a winger to fix our right side? And how many games has he played on the right wing?
Exactly.
0.
Common sense isn't common.
What is our manager doing? What are you doing?
To be fair with that, can I just say something about that? Because
Yeah,
you have to remember.
Rachel,
Yeah.
just 1 second there, because I got to answer somebody who's coming at me. Tendal or Tendia. I don't understand how any rational person talks about Glazes out. How do you fire a person who owns a business from his business? If you understand football, Tendai, if you understand football, there are many ownerships that have been run out by fans. Gillette and Hicks, find out, look it up, Google it. Liverpool, Blackpool got rid of their owners. Throughout history of football in this country, many owners and boards have been got rid of by fans because fans have had enough of the way they've been running their club. So this is not like a normal business, like a corporate business. Football, even though now the corporates and bankers have took over football, football is different, my friend. So educate yourself. But thank you so much for the comment. Carry us, Rachel.
I've actually forgotten what I was going to say.
Sorry, Rachel. I answered
No,
that.
I think it was in
it's not
response
your
to my
fault.
Sancho point.
Your Sancho.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So the Sancho point was so Greenwood started the season really, really well, right? He was actually one of our star players in the first 3 or 4 games. So I think Ollie felt that he couldn't drop him, which is understandable. And obviously he was giving Martial a couple of games, and obviously Ronaldo came in and he played as well. I think Greenwood played for that reason. And there's also the fact that when Sancho came in, he was ill and wasn't training, so he actually wasn't fit the first few games. So I think that was part of the reason for it. However, I am afraid that Ollie will not use Sancho on the right. I really am, because we all know how stubborn he is. When he fixates on something and he wants a player to play in a certain role, he won't change his mind about it. It's very disturbing to me. So yeah, I understand like the worry, but I think that's the reason why it happened for the first 3 or 4 games anyway. That's what I was going to say.
Can I just ask one more question, right? I watch a lot of Premiership football. I see a lot of teams who have lesser players who play better football. Honestly, out of the 20 teams in the league, where would you rank us in terms of style of play, the way that we play football?
Brentford play better football than us.
The only thing I would say, guys, genuinely, this is not in defense of Ollie, but Brighton, all of the other teams who are not involved in the Champions League or the ones who are not involved in Europe have a lot more coaching time, even though our coaches are crap, because by this now, even me saying this, our football should be a lot better. But small caveat, and Butch will take this as a coach, is that you need the time on the training ground to actually implement it. Most days Man United are doing, where we playing 3 games every day, right? It's the fact that we've not had any preseason for the past 2 seasons, really, right? Because of the Euros and the pandemic, right? Ollie doesn't have the time to do the work in the training ground. Now, saying that, some of these footballers are high-level footballers. Certain level of coaching can get them up to certain speed, right? And that is where you see the guy at Brighton. And even now with Arteta, I'm expecting a lot from Arsenal and Arteta this season. Why? They're not involved in Europe. They're not, and it gives you a week, 3 or 4 days of literally training ground work, week in, week out. Manchester United don't really have that amount of time. But that is slightly only excuse, because I look at Liverpool, I look at City, I look at Chelsea, I look what Tuchel's coming, what he did. And Chelsea were involved in as many competition as we were. They actually went to the Champions League final, the FA Cup final. So that's where my excuse, it's not an excuse, but I'm just trying to give an insight.
Also, there's the players as well.
Can I just add something there quickly, Nuruddin? with that, if you have a system and if you play a certain way, it doesn't matter if you have 1 day rest, 2 day rest. It shouldn't matter because you got your own style, you got your own philosophy, and you no matter it doesn't matter if it's Man City coming to Old Trafford or if it's Brighton, you're playing a certain way. What I'm seeing as well, it's sometimes like, City's coming, they're gonna have most of the possession. Okay, now we're gonna play to their like a certain. We're gonna change it up depending on who we're playing. Where City, Tuchel, Pep, Tuchel, and Klopp, they got their system. I don't care who's coming to Anfield or where we have to go to Old Trafford or whatever. This is how I'm playing. They don't change it up. They don't change it up because United's coming to their home ground or it's Leicester or someone else. That's why it doesn't matter when it comes to when you have a system or a philosophy. It doesn't matter if you got 1 day, 2 days rest, or if you're not playing in Europe. You're going into the game playing whatever your style is, whatever your way of playing is. That's how you're going to go into the game, and that's something that Oli hasn't got at the moment. So, and with Pep and all they do in training will be working on a few little errors that they need to improve from the previous game. Whether it's their attacking, whether it's defending, they'll just work on them areas because the rest of the philosophy and the system is there. And like you were saying, someone was saying before, that it doesn't matter who Klopp or Pep put into their squad. It's a well-oiled machine, even Tuchel, because the players come in, they know their role.
We had it with Fergie.
And that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter if you're playing Wednesday. If you're playing 3 games a week, it shouldn't matter because if you have a system, then you're gonna get the results, or at least you have a good performance.
Yeah, can I just say something to that though? That's kind of, when against Southampton. I don't know if you guys watched the Chelsea game against Southampton.
Yeah.
The first half they were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant in the first half. Second half they weren't so good. And prior to that, Chelsea, like none of the top 6 teams have actually played that well, apart from City when they started playing well against Chelsea. They played really well against Chelsea, and then they played really well against Liverpool. They were brilliant as well. So all the top 6 teams haven't actually started that well in terms of being fluid and playing the football you expect them to play. Not that this is an excuse for us, by the way.
Man, fuck Oli, man. Seriously.
No, I hear that. But when Chelsea had Mason Mount missing from their team, and they basically had, it was who was it? It was Kai Havertz, and it was it was they changed their team up a little bit. Now Mason Mount, good player, not a great one, a good player. But what he offers to their team in terms of the way he presses, how hard he works, they missed him. And he's very important to the way they play, and you actually saw a massive difference. So this is why I can't criticize the coaches and not Oli, because for me, Oli is sabotaging the team with his stubbornness to the point where people now are saying we don't have a system, we don't have tactics, we don't have a style of play. But if you put Matic and Donny in there, or even just one of them in there, and you have someone who breaks the lines, who actually completes that pattern of play, which we do have, then people will see it. That's what I don't understand with Oli. Like, we do have a style, we do have a system, we do have tactics, but Oli's not putting the players out there to execute those patterns consistently. That's what's bugging me. Do you know what I mean? So, like,
of course, 100%, Rachel. Rachel.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It took me a while to find out. The biggest thing for me, the counter-attack has always been under Fergie. Even apparently, even for Matt Busby, the counter-attack has always been part of it. Man United at quick attacking football, quick into the last thirds. That's been part of it, right? But the biggest thing for me is that for us to play that type of football in a transition, we saw it. The classic example is the way we played against Wolverhampton last season. Who was in midfield? Donny and Matic. Who came on 6 minutes to go against West Ham and played that ball? He took out 3 West Ham players. And give it to Lingard. Lingard has still something to do, but at least when we got a low block like we had against Everton, the passes is super important. Guys, I don't know where we're going to have all of the answers, but I'm just going to go around and last words. 2 questions I'm going to ask, and I want quick, really answers because we've gone over an hour already, and everybody in the comments have been amazing. Big up to everybody. Rachel, please let them know where you are now before your battery goes. I know you have to go. Talk to me. Rachel, are you there? I think she might have gone. I think her battery died. But Bobbs, talk to me, bro. Where do you think? Do you think, for me, this is make or break for Oli? if all of the things that we've talked about, even me and Butcher there try to come up with reasons why we think Ollie is in a situation where he is. Can we please say big up to Rachel and those of you who are watching this? There's over 200 of you in here. There's almost so please like and share and subscribe. Can you please give her a follow? Her football IQ is none. Forget about her gender, but go and give her a follow on Twitter. She's a Devil's Avocado on Twitter. She's also on First X11. Is that it? Am I right? First X9. That's what she's on as a channel. But I'm going to quickly go around and ask you, if Ollie doesn't implement the changes that we talked about, Bob, do you think he's going to go in January, or do you think the Glazers will wait till the summer? Quick answer.
I think January. Because if he doesn't make the changes or make the common sense amendments, we could be in trouble come January. Because the next 6 fixtures, we could easily lose them all. It's would we be shocked if we did? I don't think so. So there you go. And then Champions League, every competition we've been in, we've lost. So we can't win the League Cup. There's FA Cup, but that's after January. So yeah, he's gone by. I honest to God believe if he doesn't get maximum points or he's not still in the top 4, he's gone. 100%, he's gone. Because you know what happens? We've said it at the beginning of the show. Top 4, money. You mess with the Glazers' money, you're gone, mate. Mm-hmm. Simple as that. Simple as that.
I think December as well. The reason I think that is because I have grave concerns about our Champions League position after the Villarreal game, because Atalanta, do not underestimate that team. They are an attacking team. They score goals. So we've got those back-to-back, and then we've got to go away to Villarreal. So if we're struggling Champions League come December, I think they'll make a decision, because Ronaldo's not going to... Ronaldo playing in the Europa League. Varane playing in the Europa League.
Listen,
Trust
guys.
us. You know what? Trust us, yeah. Trust us to go crazy on social media. Our fan base all over the world. One of the greatest footballers of this generation, and possibly one of the greatest footballers of all time. And we take him to the Europa League. You might as well close shop. You might as well close the shop. You might as well. If Ollie does that, if he doesn't go then by himself.
Hey, Ronaldo hasn't won the Europa League yet. You can add that to his.
Actually, I'm gonna
listen.
revise my prediction.
Maradona won it. Listen, Maradona won it. The real Ronaldo won it. You know, it's one of those things. You know, they're probably better than Cristiano Ronaldo. Both of them. They both played in it and they won it. But obviously, it's a different era. It's a different generation of football. If he doesn't get out of that group, he's gone anyway. Let's be honest. Lightning cannot strike twice, and if it does,
go on, Mundo.
No.
Go on, Mundo.
It's not possible.
What I was going to say is, I'm going to change my prediction. Actually, depending on the Atalanta results and where we are in the league, if it looks like we're not going to qualify, I think they'll press the button.
You're giving them too much credit. You and Bobby are giving them too much credit, by the way. But you know what? We will see who's right. Irfan.
No, I'm with you. They ain't going to sack him. No way they're going to sack him. They're not that kind of people. They're not like we're not dealing with Chelsea here. We're not dealing with ruthless, success-driven a company. We're not dealing with that. We're dealing with jokers. We're dealing with people who just run it part-time with Tampa Bay, etc. So it's not happening. Now the problem is like, okay, I think if we don't get out of the Champions League and the embarrassment to Ronaldo, this is the thing about Ronaldo moving to the club. The eyes weren't really on us before, but now the eyes of everyone is on us. So it's ramped up the pressure big time. You know, let's be honest about this. The thing is, I can't see him sacking him. I can't see him. But I'm hoping it comes to that. If we lose those matches, the pressure will be on Tenor. We won't be able to get through it. Because I looked at I think the bookies have got him the third favourite to be sacked. I think there's 2 managers above him at the moment. Now, the problem we've got, like I said, the problem we've got at the moment is that, you know, we all found we know there's a major problem at the moment. But like I said, do they know there's a problem? Do the Glazers know there's a problem? And let's be honest, players get managers sacked. Owners don't. Man United owners, they won't sack them. It's the players that get the thing sacked, because it's easier to sack one guy than it is 11 players. Let's be honest about that. I don't have any faith in them being smart enough to say this guy's not up to the job, because they're not on the ball. They are not with Man United. They don't follow the game. They don't know anything about the game. They've got all these cowboys who run the club, Woodward, all the rest of them. You've got these jokers. We are nepotism FC from top to bottom. Let's be honest about this. But like I said, with Ronaldo giving him the eyes and saying, what are you doing? Varane there, all these people who've won everything, looking at them, that's what's going to create the pressure. And the pressure is going to come from those players to get him kicked out. Nothing else is going to do it. The Glazers are not going to kick him out. That's how I see it.
Also, in December, who's going to be starting his job on the first day of January is Richard Arnold, who's going to be taking over Ed Woodward. Yeah. I've always come back to this, guys, and actually this comment sums it up. Roosevelt, he says, the fact that there is no one above Ollie to question his accountability shows a lack of structure at Man United. No one big club in the world has that system. Fletcher is a bro, not a one question. Listen, people get this wrong as well. Fletcher's job at Man United is a technical development and he helps out with the coaching. He doesn't have any say. Man United are the only club in world football that have created a director of football where the manager and the director of football are like this in the pyramid, are level. Not the director of football here, as most football. When the director of football role was invented, this is what was invented. You've got the board here, you've got the manager here, and the director of football is there, right? Reports to the board, takes orders from the manager, reports in the go-between. But he has the total decision-making in a football club. So zero accountability. Murta is here. He was there from 2013 with David Moyes. His job was developed. Can anybody please tell me John Murta's qualification for being a director of football? Zilch. As a development guy, yes. As a football administrator, a sports science guy, yes. As a director of football, zilch. Man United are the only club in the world to actually give somebody a job that they're not qualified to do. Fact. Well, Matt Judd, who's another banker from Bristol University, who is the head chief negotiator for all our contracts. That is what we face with, guys. I'm going to go back to Butch. Butch, if the changes don't come, when do you see him going?
Look, the changes won't come because the next game, Fred McTominay are going to start again. But for me, it's results. If he keeps getting the results, he's still going to be here. The Glazers are not. Do they understand football? Do they understand what they're watching when and if they're at the ground? No. So they're looking at this table and thinking, oh, we're 2 points behind. That's fantastic. That's brilliant. Ronaldo's been scoring last-minute winners. That's fantastic. Our marquee signing. He's selling the shirts. That's great. For them, they're not looking at the overall picture. So for me, I think if he doesn't pull it off in these next couple of fixtures, personally, I think they should really start looking to get rid of him. But if you're going to get rid of him, have someone ready now. Whoever that might be, have someone ready. Don't sack him and then we have Carrick on the sideline for a couple of games to try to find someone. We're going to be like Spurs going through 18 different resumes trying to find a manager. Have someone ready. Whether it's, I don't agree. I don't think Conte is the guy. But if that's what the club are looking at, whoever it might be, I don't care. Zidane, Poch, whoever the club's thinking to get, have a chat to him now. Listen, Ollie's job is on the line. We're looking to get you. This is what we're offering. These are the objectives. These are the goals. These are the players you're gonna have. This is the budget. Break it down for him. Have him ready, because once he's gone, bang, you want him in. Just like Tuchel came in at Chelsea, and that's the way Pep. The owners already knew a couple seasons before Pep was gonna come that he was already gonna sign the deal here. So they were getting him the De Bruyne's, the Silvers, getting the squad ready for him. Unless they're doing that, there's no point, because then you're gonna panic buy and get a coaching it's gonna end up being the same thing. For me, he won't end up getting sacked unless he loses top four, because we've seen this when it's mathematically impossible for Moyes, Van Gaal, and Jose to get top four. They got the sack, so they don't give a shit, to be honest, until that top four Champions League money is not there. So
totally. Spot on.
And look, if the performances are not there, yes, all right, we might be disappointed watching the game, but as long as give us the result. I don't mind seeing last minute winners, a bit of entertainment. I know it's you get a few grays and you lose your hair watching them type of games, but at the moment United need results, and at the end of the day it is a results business, and if we can get that for right now in these next couple of games, okay, then we'll look forward and see if we can find a style of play or find a way that we're consistently playing. Then okay, you say give him to the rest of the season and see if he lifts the trophy. For me, if he doesn't lift the trophy, he's got to go. Simple as that. But it's the owners are not going to make that call, and we've seen it through the years. And I'm worried that they're not going to make the right decision when they bring the next guy in. Because if it's the same guy, it's going to be like Conte, and Conte was getting onto the Inter Milan board. He was ripping into them. He's not getting the what he wants.
Took Chelsea to court. Bro, he took Chelsea to court. He took Chelsea to court. Right, Butch, can you let them know where they can find you, bro?
Yeah. Look, Football Capital on pretty much every single platform: YouTube, Insta, Twitter. Don't use Twitter much, but yeah, you can find me. Football Capital. Type it in, you find us.
Also, I just want to big up Rachel in the comments. Battery died. Big up to she said, big up to the chat. Smash a like for the bottom phone call structure. But Rachel, thank you so much. Please, if you're going to give her a follow, Football IQ second to none. And she's also on the first XI first 11. Bobby, let them know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, listen, Bits and Bobs on YouTube. You can find me there. You can also find me on this channel. You can also find me on the Football Capital. Yeah, thanks for letting me on, man. And make sure you subscribe. And let's get Nuruddin to 4K, man.
Mundo, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me at Mighty Mundo on Twitter. Not that I tweet that much, but best place to find me is here on this channel.
Irfan Rainey.
Same for me. Yeah. If you look at my Twitter, it's all politics, but I always reply to Nuruddin's Man United Mr. Structure tweets. But best place, like I said, Mundo said, is to find me here. It's only
right.
place
After these 6 games, this panel is gonna come back on this channel.
Yeah,
and we're gonna continue the conversation, because I think whatever happens is gonna happen. Like I said, I'm gonna quickly sum it up.
Wait, before you sum it up, Nuruddin, can I just say one thing? You said to me when we signed Ronaldo that the pressure has gone sky high now. You said that. And that is the context to what you're about to say. That is the context to this whole discussion. Let's be honest. Yeah.
I said it. I said Oli was already under pressure with a Varane and a Sancho signing this season. I said it. I said that. And I said Ronaldo coming in has gone up tenfold. Because Ronaldo himself, I was there at the ground on Saturday. Ronaldo, as soon as the final whistle went, Ronaldo did not look at any players or anybody else. He turned towards the tunnel, walked, muttering Portuguese to himself. All you've seen is Townsend chasing after him, asking him for his shirt, and he just palms him up, keeps walking, shaking his head, absolutely fuming. The only way Oli can get sacked or anything can happen to Oli, and like I said, Manchester United are not like normal football teams. We can't sack, because I don't trust the people who are in this making the footballing decisions to go and get the right coach and manager. Manchester United don't need a manager as state and manager. Manchester United need a tactically astute coach who goes in the training ground and implements the system and gets the best out of the players. I'm not Martial FC. I am not Pogba FC or Bruno FC or McFred FC. I am Manchester United supporter, as many of you watching this, many of you who are bantering us in the comments, but everybody on this panel. That's who we are as a football club, as a football team, as a football supporters. So we would get behind, but you have to, the next person that has to come into this job, we have to hope and pray. So we hope and pray with our football. We hope and pray getting results. We hope and pray with our football structure. This club is hope and pray from top to bottom, to left to right. That's who we are. Hope and pray everywhere. That's what we are with this football club. And we can't just go and get Conte, because all the pain that we took with Oli for this rebuild to happen, it can go like that. It can go like that. So we need
to get trophies,
my favorite, quickly, the last 2 minutes, one word answer. I will take Enrique, Zidane, or my favorite for me is Ten Hag, right? Quickly, Irfan, before we go around, who's you to take over out of those three?
Ideally, it would be Ten Hag, but I'd have to go for Zidane because I don't think anyone could handle those players. I don't think Ten Hag could handle those players. I'll be honest with you. Although he would be my assistant, even my assistant. Yeah.
Butch, one word.
Yeah, probably Zidane. Just
Okay.
because of the name.
Okay. Bob.
Zizou, Zizou,
Mundo.
Zizou.
I agree with Irfan. I like Ten Hag, but I think Zidane has the, Zidane in the dressing room. What a lift that would give those players.
Yeah.
You're not messing
That's
with
what.
Zidane.
But that's the modern game, Mundo. That's the modern game. It's about is the manager. Can I really respect him? And let's be honest, they don't really respect Ollie. Let's be honest. That's the truth of the matter.
No,
It's an ego-led game now. Let's be honest. Yeah. And that's the problem.
Let me say something to you now. If you've got proper football instructor that backs up the manager, those players who are making trouble for the manager can be ready to love. And I think our players are not as bad people make out to be. But Dan Hag would get the players on side. Do you know why? He will implement the system. And when they see the system working...
You know one thing, Nuruddin? You know one thing he'd do? He'd play Donny van de Beek, I tell you that.
But no, we play 4-3-3 straight away. And he'll understand that we're top heavy. We've got a lot of attacking players. And that he'll make changes to that. And he'll make Pogba and Bruno be disciplined number 8. That's what he would make. And he would play Matic and substitute Donny and the likes. But Man United don't have that. But I wouldn't just like to get Dan Hag. I would also like to bring Edwin van der Sar. So Edwin van der Sar, Dan Hag.
Football director, you mean? As football director, yeah? Director of football.
Of course. Perfect. Perfect.
Can I just say something quickly before we go? If Ollie, let's just say right now he gets sacked, tomorrow morning he gets sacked, and the next manager comes in, does he need to win something this season, or he's out as well? Are we back on this?
No, you have to win something. You have to win something.
Yes, okay. Because I'm not. When the next manager comes in, I'm not buying this or give him time business anymore because he's got the team.
I don't know, I don't know, Nuruddin. I don't know.
No. Irfan, Tuchel did it. Tuchel did it. Other managers have done it. Other managers have gone to places and been successful. Look at how long.
Wait.
How long Rodgers has had at Leicester. They won an FA Cup. Boom. Listen, no messing about, Irfan. This is Man United.
They were missing. Their squads were totally full. Their squads were deep and full. Liverpool,
I understand that.
Chelsea,
Listen,
very deep.
But we sit here, guys, and that goes to the question. Leicester City have a better football instructor than us. Brighton have. Wolverhampton has. Everton have. Most of the clubs in this league have a better football instructor than we do. But anyway, guys, where you can find everybody, love and respect to every one of you in here. Please, on your way out, smash the like you're smashing that Boldy Grey, that kind of CC Tops. Is that the band back in the day? Was it called CC Tops?
It's easy top with a long beard, yeah.
Looking like kind of Glazer. Smash it like you're smashing them on the back of the head. Because without them, we would be a football team. With them, we're not a football team. We are PRFC, Business for FC, Jobs for the Boys Business FC, and that's who we are. But win, lose or draw, guys, Glazers out, Bristol University Bankers out. Thank you to every one of you here in the community. We do this as a community, and it is a credit to all of you. But this panel will resume, and I'll have everybody on whenever time. But we'll be back after these 6 games to review where we
what date that is, Nuri? You know what date is? Does anybody know what date that is? After the 6th game.
6 weeks time, Irfan. Today is the 5th tonight.
Yeah.
Right? It's 6 weeks from now. So we'll be back and I'll find a date. Anyway, peace, love, and light to every one of you people. I hope you're all well. Take care. Good night.
Take care.